of the publishing persuasion, of the publishing persuasion. Trying to get my yawn out before I began.
And I smiled way too soon before I swallowed my coffee. That's not something I should try.
That's dangerous. That is dangerous.
Honestly,
There
it
we
does
go.
feel dangerous the older I get. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The other day I
everything.
choked on nothing. I choked on fucking a little bit of saliva that dribbled down the wrong way, and I was like, I'm gonna pass away right now.
Yeah, you're like, how many years have I been on this planet? And that took me out.
Literally. But I late,
Yes.
I laugh, but I used to get like, I mean, I say I used to. Actually get really anxious about that, like about like those little things that could kill you off. So I've had to like come up with ways to like, you know, get up and get out of the door. Otherwise, I would be the person that doesn't leave the house for fear of, whatever.
Like, are you like nervous about like getting sick, like those kind of like getting out like germs? Is
I
that
think
what
I
you're
probably
saying?
have OCD. Like I just hyperfixate on everything that could go wrong and it'll play over and over and over in my brain. I think
Hmm.
that's just like probably like why we're all here and like alive because the people like me with hypersensitivity were like, bitch, that beast doesn't look friendly. Let's not befriend her and protected the tribe from lions and stuff. So like I think my brain in modern times is constantly scanning for threats uselessly and it always collects my brain collects threats, so it'll be like, remember
Mm-hmm.
that time when you were like 12 and you read that completely age inappropriate magazine on your music teacher's table and it told you about that that young couple who on their honeymoon the husband dove into the pool at the hotel, cracked his head open and passed away. And so then I'll always have that picture somewhere in the back of my brain and I'll be like, no diving in the pool, you know?
Yes, you're high up on the evolutionary chain. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
here.
So I've had
Yes.
to come up with a lot of ways to like not become a hypochondriac. And basically we're at the point where when I start to overthink all these little it starts small and then suddenly I'm like, that could kill you, that could kill you, that could kill you. And then these days I'm just like, you know what? if if you're gonna go on that on like a bit of rogue saliva, if rogue saliva is gonna take me out, it's my time. I just tell myself, I'm like, well, if that's gonna take you out, it's your time. You deserve to go. If that's gonna kill you, natural selection is just doing its job. You know what I mean?
Just doing his job, just doing his job. At least you would leave your loved ones a good story to tell.
Yeah,
Melanie, she was probably over there just
just with a rogue
yapping.
saliva.
Okay. Yeah, no. I'm glad that you are working through this and like,
Yeah.
figuring out how to get out and about. But speaking of pools though, I remember as a child, I remember that, and I don't know if it was just like at that time, but there was like different cases of kids and adults, whoever, getting their hair stuck in the filter systems and then drowning because they couldn't get free. And I don't know if that was like a one in a million, one in a billion case, but that's all I needed to hear. Like
Mm,
I never swam by those filters. Again, n now that I think about it, like why were those filters that powerful?
yeah. And honestly, I feel like this was the absolute correct choice for you. Because I mean, look at your hair. It's strong. Like if we were gonna have to climb out of a building Rapunzel style. Now listen, I might survive. Look at these wisps. I might survive if the pool filter grabbed onto me. I think I could fucking tear this shit out pretty easily. Especially with this growing out mullet, like it's long, but these ends are
It is
really
long.
wispy from the mullet. It'd be a bit thick, but even where it's thick, you see, she's wispy, she's fine. I'm probably surviving the pool. But for you, it's really valid to develop that phobia because your hair is strong. It'd be a
True.
good, decent latch.
You're right. And now the fear is back. You are
Just keep it.
correct.
Listen, The thing about the fears and the phobias is, like, it really is also like reasons we are alive because, like, we're the reason that the warning labels exist because we think about what could happen. You know what I mean?
It's
So
true.
they're
It's
valid,
true.
but if you collect them all the way my brain does, it's really not helpful, you know?
It is not, yeah.
Is that your biggest fear,
Yes.
or are there others?
Well, I mean, for sure, heights. I don't do
Oh,
heights. Do you do
yeah.
heights?
When I was younger, I was a bit more fearless with it, but the older I've gotten, the more I don't do heights. Like, even
Yeah.
if I think I'm fine, I just like I've always had a really healthy fear of ledges. Again, for the same reason of,
Right. Yes.
the stories where people go on the ledge. Like I'm very anti like, let's climb on that rock on the edge of the mountain and take a cool photo. I'm like, bitch, how many people can you get on that rock before she fucking goes with gravity? I'm like, I don't need to
Yes.
find out.
We
You know
don't.
what I
We
mean?
don't. Yes.
So
And
no, I don't do heights, and I'm very, very comfortable with never doing like bungee jumping or skydiving. Zero interest. My nervous system puts me through that shit on the daily without me needing to jump out of a plane. I don't need that
oh,
adrenaline. My fucking
yeah.
adrenaline is pumping. I get the rush of a bungee jump when I just fucking like start the car. I'm like, I'm driving. I
Maybe that's
don't
what it
drive
is.
anymore.
Yeah, that's why you don't need to go out and seek these wild things because you're like, you know what? I'm feeling them every single day of my
I
life.
would
I
say
don't need a
so.
bungee jump. Yeah, that's valid. That is valid. Yeah, I'm not like a fan of like oceans either. I'm not like, I mean,
Because of
I
your
like a
history.
look. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. In my evolutionary chain, I have been through this enough. I have learned my lesson.
Maybe the pool fear is somehow connected, you know? Maybe there was like an ancient
Oh my
sinkhole
gosh.
or something, or some giant crab that grabbed onto your great 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 grandmother who also had luscious, thick, strong hair. They
You know what?
grabbed her,
It
dragged her
could
to the
very well
depths.
be. It's in the bones, it's in the blood.
Yeah,
We feel it.
I mean,
Generations have
listen.
passed of trauma.
Trauma, but your ancestors gave you trauma, but also very, very, very shiny hair. So,
Yes.
we
So
take a
thank you for
win
that.
and a loss.
Yes, that's true. You can't have it all. You can't have it
Nah.
all. No. I haven't gotten to watch the Snake Church yet. However, which I know, I apologize. I really need to get on it. However, last night Armando started this documentary on HBO
Yeah.
about people who like have these the like venomous creatures as pets or they sell them. And the opening scene was this man, I'm assuming, please don't be offended, I'm assuming he's from Florida. I'm quite confident he was in Florida.
I'm Australian and
Um,
I can quite confidently assume he was from Florida based on the footage
yeah.
we receive.
I'm assuming, right? But he took out a viper, and it was the biggest viper I've ever seen. And he was like letting it kind of like acting like he was in charge of it. And then the viper snapped and he caught it like right before it hit him. And he was like, "You guys got that, right?" And the cameraman was like, you can probably put it down. You could put it away now." And so he's laughing and he like gets the viper into its little hole he goes into. And as the guy's going to close the hole, the viper shoots out and just like looks at the guy, like, just so you know, I could kill you. And then the guy's laughing, like, "Oh, let me just put him away." And I'm just like, we rewatched it twice just because we were in so much shock. Um,
You definitely need to
yeah,
watch Snake, and you need Armando to
we
watch it with you.
do.
He's gonna thrive.
Yes.
He loved that. Also, now that you're telling me this, I literally just saw a reel the other day, or when I was looking up Snake Church, it came up as a fact that like exponentially women are less likely to get bitten in the face by snakes. And I remember reading it and I was like, why am I getting this fact? I was like, who's holding up a snake to their face? And you just
There it is.
answered the question for me. Because boys are just out here being like, I'm gonna look this serpent right in the
It's
eyes,
true.
and just, you know, and which leads me to Snake Church. This is like, I actually, it still boggles my mind how this started. Because growing up, like, conservative Christian myself, serpents were like very like ominous. They weren't the thing that you were like
Mm.
wanting to just like be around, right? But basically this church, I feel like it maybe was in Florida too, but I won't my memory's sketchy with that stuff. But yeah, it's a snake church. They have snakes. They like dance with the snakes, like rattlesnakes, like not pythons, like fucking venomous snakes that they just like go out and catch. And then it's kind of like, actually, like the guy who like was the leader of the church, in a weird way, I felt like I didn't hate him. Like he wasn't the typical cult leader who just wanted to like, take advantage and child brides. You know what I mean? Like he was like just he just seemed like a basic guy who just like his daddy got killed by snakes. Which also made me think like it's a choice that he wanted to be around the snakes so much. But basically, their whole thing was like, I think it's like a power thing, right? Like they hold these snakes, and like basically every time like God is like letting you survive type thing. Or if the snake bites you, God's going to save you. And if he doesn't, it's your time. And there's actual footage, like they allowed somebody to come film the church, and like he gets out this poison. I think the one that bit him was a rattlesnake. He gets out this fucking huge poisonous snake, and they're dancing with it, and like screaming and like prophesying with these snakes. And then and like in the lead up, they keep telling you like information about it, and he's basically like, if I were to get bitten, like don't resuscitate me because God will save me, and if he doesn't, whatever. And as they're
Uh-huh.
recording him in the church, this fucking massive ass snake strikes him big time, like around his ear, neck, and
Oh
he
my
starts
God.
bleeding out everywhere. Like it was a proper latch. And he's like, he's like, keep going, don't stop, keep going. Because he's so convinced that like he's untouchable.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, don't, which he keeps moving, which, like, listeners, we all know after a snake bite is the worst thing you could do. Like, you're supposed to, like, not move. Like, I don't even know how to, like, do it anymore, but I used to know the wrapping techniques, but I don't think that they do that anymore. Anyway, you're not supposed to move. Everyone knows that. And he just keeps dancing, and then suddenly he's like, dying basically. He suddenly
Oh
goes from
no.
dancing to dying, and like foam coming out of his mouth, and like one of his friends decides he's sorry, I got fluff on my nose. There it is. Just like having this fluff incident while I'm telling you this chaotic story. Um, Luckily one of his friends decides to take him to hospital. He somehow survives this major bite, and but survives, but like they later tell us like he probably will be affected by this for life. Like he will probably never be the same because it's like a neurotoxin. So it like fucks up
Mm-hmm.
your whole nervous system, or some like it does whatever. Your neuro is what, that's the same thing, right? Your neuro
Yeah,
system.
we're gonna go with it. We're
Oh
doctors here on the show as well. We're
my
historians
God.
and doctors,
Yeah,
therapists too.
yeah. And he looks like he's not okay after it. But he still like tries to go handle the snakes while you literally see him having like a panic attack on screen about the snakes.
Oh God.
So I highly recommend watching it. It did two things for me. It like showed me how, like, just reminded me why I deconstructed from religion, but it also gave me empathy for people who are like still like bound by like the very heavy brainwashing parts of it, because he was
Hmm.
sweet. He was sweet, like he didn't mean any harm, but he just really thought the snakes were important.
You were important. You know what I took from this story as I
Mm,
was listening to this? So we had Jennifer on, right? The
yes.
show, which you listeners will hear. She's amazing, fabulous, so talented.
Mm.
And she was telling us that even she has days where she has imposter syndrome. She doesn't believe in herself. She doesn't believe she's good enough. But here is this motherfucker, right? Just some random dude who believes so much in himself that he thinks he has the power to take on venomous snakes. You know what I mean? Like the audacity, the
He
nerve of someone who has no right to believe this, but does it anyway.
not
Damn it.
even no right to believe it, less right than most because his dad died from like a rattlesnake bite. And so less reason than the average person to believe that this is a good idea. But
But the audacity, you know what I mean?
we should
Of a
all
of
have
a
some
dude.
of that. It really is the
Yes.
people. I hear what you're saying. Like, it really is the people who maybe shouldn't believe in themselves that are out here starting snake church, you know?
Oh man. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to watch that for sure because that sounds right up Armando's alley. He loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
You know,
short.
not saying people get bit, but
I mean, listen, it's okay if he does like seeing people get bit. In this case, in this case, I'll allow, like, I think that in a weird way I'll agree it was satisfying. So, like, you, these serpents do not want to be handled like this. You know what I mean? They don't need to be handled like
no.
this. So, and also just, I really find that, like, that whole vein of things very problematic. It's like one of my biggest
Mm-hmm.
issues. Like, it's kind of a side quest now, but it's one of my biggest issues with religion. This whole, like, this individual, like, I am protected by this snake that I am choosing to hold, but then the whole, like, okay, like, he's exposed himself to that danger, and then still somehow spinning it. You know what I mean? That it's like some
Mm-hmm.
sign, or like, yeah, all of that just really rubs
Yeah.
me up the wrong way.
Yeah. And also with a lot of churches of like not believing in science, believing in faith, which faith in itself is a beautiful thing, but having so much faith that they're like, my faith will heal us from these wounds, from this venomous bite. But really, what's gonna actually save you is science. So just like
Yeah,
let's just think good about science, you
yeah.
know?
He is only breathing because of like many, many antivenoms and treatments from the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
but
We love
anyway,
a good science moment. We love a good,
that's it.
right push in the right direction moment. But I don't know if he learned those things, but more power to him. More power
He
to him.
learned something. He was definitely changed after the incident. But I'm not sure what, because in the final scene, he actually, I mean, I don't want to give you spoilers. In the final scene, he emerges in wearing a suit that, like, I'll just let you see with your own eyes. I was like, did he change? Maybe not. I feel like somehow he feels like he's more invincible now, but I don't know.
Oh no. Okay, I see. Okay. Yeah, well, good luck to this young man. Did you ever do like look up where he's at now?
Yes, I think that's when I sent you the links. One was the bite happening, and then
Oh,
the second link is kind of the follow up on, like, where.
wow.
So, like, my friend Henry, he showed us the first clip, and then he was like, it just leaves you on a cliffhanger. And then he's like, yeah, I never found the follow up, and we just happened to find the follow up that day. Somehow he never found it, and so kind of like, yeah, it gives you like a bit of a follow up. I don't know about now, like in the future. No, I haven't done a follow up check. But what I will tell you is, in my Googling, I did discover this is not one snake church. There's many snake churches
There,
in
yes.
America.
I have heard there, yes, I have heard of many a snake church here in the
Yeah.
States.
And I have to ask you, because in Australia, I've had this question scratching at my brain. In Australia, we've got really strict rules on what animals you can own. It seems like in the USA, you can just kind of own any animal. Do you need licenses, or you
Well,
can just have whatever?
well, it depends on what state you're in.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
yeah. And so in certain states, like Florida, they have more lenient laws, rules, dare
Hmm.
I say. And so they kind of do what they will with them. Yeah. So like
Hmm.
here in California, we do have stricter laws about what you can and cannot have.
Represent.
Even yeah, in California represent. Yeah, even because of our ecosystems and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, we try to be mindful of certain things. But yeah, I think in certain states it's a little more lenient. And even if they have
Mm.
laws, people are just going to do what they want to do anyway because they're, outlaws in their own minds. And but did you ever watch like Tiger King?
Oh
Did
yeah.
you ever watch that
I
one?
was just
Yeah, so
thinking of it.
it's just how we roll. It's
It's
just
how
how
we
we
roll.
roll.
Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm there.
Yeah, it's great entertainment, but
Mm.
it's also terrible to watch because
Yeah,
you are watching these animals also suffer.
that's
So
it.
there's that, which really sucks as well. So yeah, there's a lot of conflicting feelings here now that I'm thinking
Mm.
about this, Melanie. It's
Complicated history.
very, very
Complicated,
much so.
complicated with every state having like all their own rules, kind of. But yeah.
Every state is so vastly different
Mm.
from each other, like in culture, in our laws. I mean, we have like general federal laws and
Yeah.
whatnot, but every state is so, so different. And even in California, we're very diverse in because of our climates. Northern California, Central California, Southern California, we're very different. And so everything is
Mm.
just like we're just all little globs existing within
Yeah.
this big thing. Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful
Yeah.
when it.
For like when it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is celebrating diversity and leaning into it and learning and like exploring all that from all of these different parts of the world. Everybody can come here and do the coolest things. That's when it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my favorite part.
Me too. And I hope that like I know like the world goes in cycles, but I'm so hopeful that like the cycles are getting shorter and smaller and that like we're moving towards a place where like it will be unacceptable to be discriminatory in those ways where it's like so unwarranted. So like, you know what I mean? I feel like the circle
Yeah.
is tightening where you can like I know it feels like in the last few years like we've majorly regressed, right? But I feel like it's not what humanity wants as a whole. You know, we just want to be free and like and live peacefully and like in abundance and whatever. And like I think that like more people want that than less. And when we like
Yeah.
unite together, that like we can make that happen, you know? And I think
Yeah.
yeah, I was literally saying to Phil yesterday, I was like, do you reckon like one day, like in the far, far future, I was like, I feel like we'll look back and people will be like, oh my God, like the patriarchy used their like physical power to oppress and control. Like how primitive. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes, it
who
is. It
uses
truly is.
physical power to like do this?
Yes, I love that. I love that energy.
Yeah.
We're focusing that into the future. We're funneling that
Yeah.
through.
That's what I
Yes.
hope for the future.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
how are you?
Living.
What's cooking? What's cooking on your end? How's revisions going? Are we surviving? Are we thriving?
We're something. We're whatever we are. Um, I don't, what's the date? Today's the 10th
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, frick. Okay, so I got through I was like really going through it like hardcore this first revision, but but towards the end I was like, oh no, I need to probably go back and really tweak a lot of the beginning stuff, the chapters, the stuff that you've read. I was like, I got to go back. But what I forced myself to do was like to really go through the end and answer some of the questions like my editor and her assistant put on page and to
Yeah.
figure those out. And then, but now today I went back to chapter one because it's due September 1st.
Book.
And I know, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to ask for an extension because
Yeah.
I don't I'm gonna keep going, but I don't think I can get there just because it's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
It's not a lot, to be honest. Like the edits weren't huge. And I had like a good breakthrough today where I was randomly washing dishes and I was like, oh, that's the
Mm,
answer to the question that they gave me that I couldn't figure out. Like, you know how it just happens like that?
yeah, it's wild.
So I'm feeling good. Like that right there of like how learning to trim some pieces. I was like,
Mm,
bingo, I'm ready. But it just this time around, it just feels like really hard.
yeah,
Like getting my brain to not hurt because my brain is hurting and I don't know like how to get over it. But just like when we were talking with Jennifer, it's like that switch in mindset. Even today, this morning, I was like dragging my feet into my office and I was like, no, no, no. Like you get to do this. You chose to do this. Like let's have a good attitude and let's go. And it does really, it unfortunately does help. It really does.
it
Having that good
really
mindset.
helps. I'm so grateful we had her on today. As per usual, your witchy skills of like picking our guests. Like, and yeah, I really do think agent authors are very interesting people. I feel like
Hmm.
their brains work a way that I can't even imagine with all they contain and all they're able to do. And honestly, I would never aspire to be like them because it would break my brain. But I find
Yes.
it like fascinating. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not shading myself here and or like trying to limit myself. I think I just sometimes you can wonder how they get it all done and you can feel threatened by it or what not threatened, but like as if you should be doing more. Sometimes it's hard not to like measure ourselves against what other people are doing in our industry. But like seeing someone like this, I'm like, oh yeah, of course she's an agent and an author. Because look at like she's got this like energy that needs to be split in those multiple directions. But yeah, it was so refreshing listening to her and just like, I don't know, talking to someone like that, it like reprograms those parts of your brain, like you said, that we always have to do. And for the record, I think both are valid. I think it's super valid asking for an extension, not just because and not telling yourself it's a cop out, telling yourself that you're doing it for the best of the story. It's not that you
Hmm.
couldn't pull it off in the deadline, it's that you know that with more time, you'll do more justice. Because sometimes it takes that time and that space for those moments, you kind of can't force them when everything kind
It's
of comes
true.
together and you're like, oh, wait, that's what I could do. Sometimes, like, trying to force that makes it worse and you just break the book or you break your brain trying to, like, get there. So I think that's valid. But yeah, I do also agree of as well of like the power we have to swing our mindset to a more positive, productive place. And I think like the art is finding the balance between the two, right? Because both are important and both are valid. But I find if I give myself too much, like, oh, it's okay. You can stop trying to be everything. You can stop all of it and just like rot in bed for a few days. And that's great. But if I give into that too much, that doesn't feel good either. You know what I mean? But if I push too hard, doesn't feel good. If I'm like, just keep going, just do it, you can do it, you can do it, that starts to feel really heavy as well, you know?
Yes. Yes. I think that's exactly it. And I think it's you have to you have to learn to listen to your body and your mind. So like
Mm,
once your body's like, I can't, I have to move on. I cannot sit here any longer. Then you
yeah.
have to listen. Even if it's just for a little bit, because you're on a big deadline, whatever. But you really do have to listen because you're gonna crash. And I definitely I was like, even yesterday. I was like, I think I am done. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I could do this. This is really, really hard. Um, but I think also because I've written so many books so fast and my deadlines have been so fast. And so like what you're saying, giving yourself time to cook, let that brain come
Yeah.
up with the idea or solve itself. It's hard when you're pushing so hard. And so I think that's going to be my biggest lesson after this book is like give yourself a freaking break. Even though
Mm,
I keep pushing and be like I have to write the next thing, I got to sell the next thing. But it's something even like Larissa, my agent, and I have talked about because I want to try to write. I have this adult like horror idea, and she was like,
yeah.
when you do it, you have to slow down. You have to slow
Yes.
down. I was like, you are so right. I don't know how to do that, but you're right. Like, just sit in that story. You get to explore a little bit more, like take your time with it.
Mm.
So,
I agree, and honestly, like in a way, I'm in a similar place of like being forced to like sit with the story because I think I've kind of just, yeah, this week was interesting for me. Like I think I'm finally probably learning a lesson I needed to learn a while back, but I probably couldn't have learned till before now.
mm,
Um, so yeah, like I got my edits back for my graphic novel and I despaired over it, and then I like had like the kind of inspiration finally, that moment where you just like, okay, this is what I can do with it, whatever. And when I got my feedback from my agent back on the synopsis, I felt like at that moment where I was just like, uh, I was just like reading over everything, reading everything I'd planned out. And I was like, this is a full rewrite. Like, it is a
mm.
full rewrite. It's in the same world, it's the same characters, but it is a full rewrite. And after the year I've had, I'm not gonna lie, it did immobilize me for a bit. And I was just like, I just pushed through like the most stressful year ever to write that. And I was like, and I thought that's gonna go on sub. I was like, I thought, like, you know, looking back now, and this is we're going to come back to the lesson. But in the moment, I was like, I thought I got that so perfect during the mentorship, and I was so happy with where it was. I was like, Sandra's going to read it, and she's going to be like, girl, we can put this on sub tomorrow.
Right?
Okay. And I did feel
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So the thing though is, through all of this, I've actually learned why Sandra is my perfect match because
Hmm.
she really does see where I'm lacking in my storytelling and like where I can level up. So, but in the moment, I was like, I'd actually been working on this little fun project on the side. Um, and I was like, you know what? I could really quickly just draft that out and chuck that in which is what I did last time with Swamp Princess, right? I was doing one thing and then I panicked about the level of revisions it needed because it was a full rewrite. And I was like, let's go write something easier, something that won't
Mm,
take as much time, less high stakes. And it's good. Like this is what I was going to say though. I think I've pivoted too hard over the
mm,
years
mm,
is what I'm trying to get to. My lesson that I've learned this week in particular, because so in my frenzy and everything I've been dealing with these neighbors and just the lack of sleep, like I do make more mistakes this year. Like I'm like there's just more pressure on me and my nervous system, and I'm like slower with stuff, and I'm like I miss stuff way more. And yeah, that's probably why I completely missed the point that I didn't have enough of a manuscript. But like I emailed Sandra back and I was like, why don't I just work on this? I'll speed draft it, this other project. I'll leave the graphic novel to cook so I can make sure that I have the time and I'll come back to it later. And I'll quickly draft this other middle grade thriller horror thing and we'll get something in the trenches this year. And she was so supportive. She was like, great. She was like, let's do it. I like this project as well. And I was like, okay, get ready, let's go. And I couldn't find my mojo this week to get going with
mm,
it. And so I just sat with that. I just sat with it and I was like, what do I actually want here? Like, because is my desperation to get something something new on submission gonna be my driving force? And it's like we were talking about with Jennifer, like in the moment that felt so strong and so important, and like I would lose my value if I didn't get something on sub this year, something new. And it was crushing me recently. I was
mm.
like, I have to get something. And then because I didn't get the graphic novel to the level, I was like, now it's August and I've got to do a rewrite. So it's like, what can I do? What can I do? And I thought I was pivoting for good. But this week when I sat with it, I realized I wasn't pivoting for good. And that if I did that, I was following something I've done many, many times over the years, which is freak out that what I had done didn't hit the mark pivot to some other project, and then either forget about what I was working on or come back to it years later
Hmm.
after trying like adult, YA, middle grade, back to like publish your own book. Like I've done so many pivots. And I was like, what if the answer is fucking sit with this graphic novel? I was loving writing graphic novels, loving it. I was thinking I could make my whole career this. Why am I going to pivot now and work on this other project full time? Instead,
Hmm.
just to rush, just to get to prove to some invisible part of myself that I deserve to be here. I've already proved that a million times, and I just need to check that and remind myself. But in the moment, it does feel like super intense. And so I emailed Sandra back just yesterday, actually. And I was like, look, I was like, I apologize for how chaotic I've been, like, firstly, which I haven't been that chaotic, but you feel a bit embarrassed to your agent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I said that to her. I was like, I felt, and I just said, look, I think I felt a bit silly about missing the mark in some critical areas with my graphic novel. And I thought I really wanted to get something on sub. I was like, but what I really want to do is be a fucking better writer
Mm.
and like take my time and like level this story up to the best fucking story it can be. And Sandra's suggestions are also on point. You know, I sat with like everything she was recommending and I was like, this will all make the story stronger. This will all give the story more agency. It's just pulling it off is going to require a full rewrite. And so I was feeling intimidated by that and like overwhelmed with everything that's been going on. And I was just like, in the moment where I felt like I had to execute it in the instant, it was too much. But now that I've sat back and taken a breath and thought about like what I really want out of this, like, yeah, I'm going to take my time. I probably won't get something new out on submission this year. It will probably be next year. And making that decision feels like honestly the most growth I've had as a writer recently. It's yeah,
Yes. That is honestly, it's powerful. It's like gives you that release of like, oh, wait, I
yeah,
don't have to put this pressure on myself for whatever the frick reason we're
yeah.
doing this to ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, and what am I
That's
comparing
beautiful.
myself for? You know, like when I we talk to Jennifer, I'm like, look at her, listen to her. She's fucking
Hmm.
brilliant. Like she has a brilliant, unique mind, and it took her 10 years to get this book out. You know what I mean? Like
Yes. Yes.
she's amazing. And so I'm like, if I can take anything from someone like her, it's like, why do I keep telling myself what I'm doing is not enough? Just keep fucking working, leveling up. It'll come. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And speaking of
Yes.
Jennifer,
Speaking of bad bitches.
bad bitches with like amazing brains.
Yes. You and her are the same, you know?
We it's counting
Um,
down. I don't know if you realize
yeah.
that. That's why.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for
Okay,
her.
go.
Okay. Jennifer Michelle Herrera was born in Northwest Ohio and has lived in Missouri, California, Michigan, New York, and Pennsylvania. She studied philosophy in graduate school before moving to New York City, where she became a literary agent. She went on to represent New York Times bestsellers, IndieBound bestsellers, and winners of multiple prestigious awards. Jennifer lives in Philadelphia, go Birds, with her husband, children, and two rambunctious kittens. She loves karaoke, making outlandish assumptions based on people's charts, and, of course, taking care of her many plants. We
Amazing.
love Jennifer.
We love her. Was Go Birds in the bio, or is that something you
Yeah,
just
it was in the bio, but it's very Philadelphia. It's very
gotcha?
Eagles. Yeah. Eagles, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Anyway, I love you and you're a fucking bad bitch. And I say yes, get that fucking extension, give your brain that time, but also know that you are a bad bitch and you've got this and you've done it before and you're gonna do it again. And from what I've already read of this book, it's a fucking masterpiece. But it's gonna take time to get it to all, you know.
Yes. Yes. You're
But you're a
right. It's
fucking
gonna take
goddess.
time.
Don't let
Thank
imposter
you.
syndrome even have a second, you know?
Bad bitches only. We're
All
snake
12,
handlers.
all 12 cloacas on fire. And snakes do have
All 12 of
cloacas.
them. Well, good to know. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of
Our
course. I love your
pleasure.
setup. I'm always so nosy every time I look at people's minds. I got to work on mine, but I love your setup.
Well, I always clean out the clutter before calls because I know that like people are like zooming in, and they will later. So I was like, okay, what's on the bookshelf back there? What instruments are behind me? Is there any clutter? So it's very well curated. And if you see the edges of the room, they are not quite so nicely put together.
Yeah.
That
Those
is
are my
so.
favorite videos. Or like, where it's like you see this view and then they're like span to the next view and you're like chaos.
That's right. That's right.
No, literally, I'm always like pushing IKEA bags and like I also have a fireplace, like bags of firewood just out of the view of the screen last minute.
Yeah, exactly. I just moved because I do videos, so I have like a tripod, and I was like, I can't have the tripod back there. That looks like I'm trying too hard.
You look professional, you know?
That's
It's
right.
what you do.
What you
Yes.
do. It's what you
What you
do.
do. It is. And
Is that a
these
cat that
days
I just saw?
especially. That was a dog
A dog.
actually, but
Sorry.
he has cat-like attitude. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay. I saw
he blends
ears.
in well. Yeah. He just prowls around lurking in the back like a creep. So, you'll see him here and there
Okay. I have
lurking.
two
Yeah.
cats, and they will probably make an appearance.
Love it.
Um,
I'm here for it.
I have to leave the
Awesome.
doors open because if I close them, then they'll just scratch at them the entire time.
Really?
They know
I,
what they want.
they
They know what they want.
know. They really rule us. I feel like pets like were really smart about evolution. They were like, we will seem like the lesser, but we will reign. Somehow
We
they've
could
got
all
it.
learn a lesson from
Yeah,
that, frankly.
It's true. It's true.
honestly.
Yes. Well, I feel like we've gotten to know you a little bit already, but we're going to dig into our hard-hitting questions to really,
Amazing.
really get to know you. And our first question is, what is either the strangest thing you own or even the most precious thing you own? What is something that whenever you see it, it just sets your heart ablaze?
So I really thought hard about this because I'm a Scorpio, so I own a lot of strange things. But I think maybe the strangest is a limited edition print of a tattooed porcelain doll. So let me explain.
Yes,
Um,
please.
there's this artist, her name is Jessica Harrison. I think she's out of Scotland. And she takes these like very delicate porcelain dolls, the sort with the like the hands that are like this and the dresses that are flowing. And she gives them enormous tattoos, like either back pieces or full sleeves, neck tattoos. And there's something about this that I just love. And I bought a print of one of her tattooed dolls.
Wait, I'm
I love
obsessed with
this.
this.
Look her up online. It's like, I think it's Jessica Harrison
I
dot studio.
actually will. This is like my kind of rabbit hole.
There's so many to choose from as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's
Gosh.
perfect.
Does she sell
How
the
did you
actual
find her?
dolls? Sorry.
Oh, that's a good question, Melanie. Because
Wait,
yes, does
what
she?
was it?
Does she sell the actual dolls?
I don't think she does. I mean, you
Mm.
could ask her, maybe she would. Probably out of my price range. I think the
Yeah.
print was like $100. I bought it as a gift to myself because I had written a novel that like never went anywhere years ago about a tattooed beauty at Coney Island. They used to have this place called Dreamland. And I had this gorgeous opening scene where this woman, she's accused of indecent exposure. It's like 1911 or something for showing off her legs when she's not allowed to because the laws back then were really, really strict. And she's like, but don't you see I'm completely covered? And she like strips off her outer layers and you see that she's got full body tattoos. She's still like wearing clothes, but that was the opening scene and it was all about this tattooed beauty. And I still love that image. So I have the print now. The book didn't do anything, but the print lives with me forever.
That
That's
is so cool.
badass.
That is badass. That really is.
It was
Did
very good.
did you like, was that the rabbit hole in finding that print? Was I wrote this
Yeah.
story, like, let me look up these sort of things and images?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had
Very
done
cool.
just this very, very, very deep dive into the tattooed women of, days yore and how women really use tattoos as a way to maintain a sense of bodily autonomy during a time of like the Victorian age, and beyond that, when there were so many laws and strictures around what women could and couldn't do, and they were like, a big F you, I'm gonna tattoo my body, and there's nothing you can do about it. Um, yes.
I love this
Yes.
conversation so much. And I feel like it lingers even now. There's like a whole like subgenre of men who find tattoos very unappealing. I've got like a three-quarter sleeve. I relish that it
Mm,
makes me very unattractive
mm,
to those
mm.
people.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. There was a time in a previous life where I was a competitive weightlifter. And men would get so
Amazing.
upset about the size of my muscles. They had
Really?
so many opinions, and some women too, frankly. But they're like, you don't look feminine anymore. You've lost your beauty. And it was such a glorious moment for me because I could be like, my body's not for you, actually.
Mm.
It's for me.
Yes.
Preach.
Oh my God. You are badass. I love this. I love how your brain works and the whole shebang. This is so so fun. W Speaking of how your brain works, like what is something that you think about way too often?
This is a really great question. So I have to preface this all by I have a philosophy background. I didn't go into philosophy, but I did it for a minute. And I actually studied in Australia. I studied at Australia National University for a summer at Canberra as a
Oh, good
visiting
old
PhD student.
Canberra.
Yeah, I Australia is beautiful. So one of the questions, so my mind kind of thinks in these like idea space. And something I think about a lot is about the subjectivity of art. So I'm also a literary agent. I work in a business where we're constantly trying to get people to read more books, and yet we're constantly dictating what kind of books they should like.
Mm.
And there is something deeply frustrating about that because I don't know about you, but for a long time, I didn't think that I was a reader. Like I thought, oh, I don't like the classics. That must mean I can't appreciate good books because I had people in my ear telling me what a good book was. And so I think a lot about the subjectivity of art and how so many of us are still trying to do that all the time and trying to say, but this is a good book. This is the objective of what a good book is and how difficult it is to get across that actually like people have really different tastes in terms of what they like, and that's fine.
Mm,
Yes. That's
absolutely.
profound.
It is profound, and I think like
Yeah.
we've probably all faced it at some point. Like there really is people holding on to that one idea of like what is literary or like what matters in writing. But yeah, like my comeback to writing was YA, like or reading in general. And I think I also thought that I had like kind of lost that thing. And then I was like, wait, no, I was just like reading the wrong. I read one too many memoirs because it was trendy, you know? And I was 20 and I wanted to look cool.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
I just wanted to gobble up the Hunger Games or whatever was trending at the time, you know? Like yeah, really relate to that.
Yeah, and I think so many people can because especially like, I mean, not to be like full feminist all the time, but it's like so many of like the things that women care about were so undervalued for so long that it feels like this moment of reclamation of like, oh, actually, I can like a YA novel that centers a character's coming of age emotional experience. And there's nothing that's unserious about that.
Mm,
That's exactly it. I think about this often myself is and now that we're here in these like quote unquote modern times where many of us are working, we have our own access to money, we can do what we want,
Right.
and you can see the power of our dollars being spent. And that's why and I'm like, okay, finally some people are, the patriarchy's noticing the power of like the female dollar, the feminine dollar.
Mhm.
And I think about it often because like I went, it was like in the time when we watched the Barbie movie, and then my daughter and I just went to Taylor Swift, and like these massive, massive things producing so much money. And it was female centered. And it's just like a beautiful thing when we all realize the power of that feminine good. I'm here for
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
you mentioned your background and your studies a little bit, but did you always want to be a writer?
No, I mean, this is gonna
Okay.
sound super trite. I don't know about you guys, but like, I genuinely did not know that being an author was a thing, at
Mm,
least not something that you could do as a job. My most important concern growing up was economic security. I
Mm.
was very invested in having a stable job someday. And so I wanted to be a philosophy professor, like honestly, since I was like 14, which is such a
Wow.
weird thing to say. But somewhere along the line, someone had said, if you're a professor, you can get tenure and then nobody can fire you. I was like, that. I want to do that thing. I'm going to read all day. Nobody can fire me. I'm going to get to be on a beautiful campus. Yes, this is what I want.
Perfect. I like the way your brain thinks. I really, really do. Where did it start then for you? Like this author journey?
So I was in grad school trying to like live out my dream. I was, as I said, a visiting PhD at ANU. I was at UC Irvine in the Logic and Philosophy of Science program, and I was so miserable. I was
Mm.
just deeply unhappy with being a professional philosopher. And I don't think it's the fault of, anybody. It's just it wasn't a good fit for me, and I didn't know what was a good fit. And so I just started writing as like a way to be myself, frankly. And I loved it. I loved it so much. The first book I wrote it in like 30 days or something ridiculous. And I was like, this is
Mm.
so easy. Like people think writing is hard. And I like obviously didn't read over the draft. I just emailed it out to a bunch of agents. And I was like, and now I wait for the money to find me. I did not. The spoiler alert is the
Mm.
money did not find me. And so I had to figure out another way to earn a living, but I had really like caught the publishing bug and I thought, okay, what else can I do? I started ghostwriting, I started consulting. Eventually, I moved to New York City and started as an intern, and then I became an agent. And
Mm.
somewhere along the line, I just kept trying. It actually took about 10 years from when I first started writing books until I got the first one published.
Wow. This is
Very freaking
also like
cool.
resonating. Can you
Tell
tell
me
us
more.
yeah, tell me more about it. I want to hear about you. I just mean about like going in with so much like I wrote this draft, it's obviously gonna instantly sell. That
The
10 years
bravado.
ago bravado, where is she? You know. But I want to hear a bit more about like what happened next for your publishing journey.
When I was in publishing, I kept writing, but nothing I really wrote turned out to be saleable. The last book I wrote before a thriller that was published in 2023 was the book with the tattooed beauty. It was a
Mm.
YA novel. I really loved it. I think looking back, it had some issues in terms of tone or in terms of like subject area, and it was in an area that wasn't selling well. It was historical fiction for teens, which was not selling well. And it was really heartbreaking to have to move on from that. But I did. And then I started working on this thriller, The Hunter, during the pandemic. And it just, it felt like it clicked. And I sent it to a friend of mine who is an agent. And I said, can you just tell me if this is terrible? Because I'd already queried, honestly, like 3 books by then. And I was like, you just have to tell me I can't embarrass myself. I cannot send this out. And like, because at that point, I actually had a reputation. Before then, like nobody had heard of me. I was just some random intern assistant. Um, and so she read it and she said, I have to represent you. And I was like, no, no, no. That was my one condition. You
Yeah.
can't. She's like, I love this. I have to represent it. And she kept me on the phone for 3 hours. And at the end of 3 hours, I was like, okay, okay, you can represent me. You got it. So it was like the weirdest story because in every other scenario, it's like, you have to catch the agent's attention. And this was just a case of like the right time and the right person. And it all kind of came together.
I freaking
Wow.
love that. We talk about that often on the pod of publishing is this weird space where you're working together in business, but it blurs oftentimes where we become friends as well as agent, author bonding, editor, author, agent bonding. Like it's this weird like globe, this weird little like atmosphere we're stuck in. I can't I didn't even think about it like as an agent querying like your colleagues. Were you like kind of just like hiding while you're doing it or you're just like
Well,
I'm
because
not even gonna try? Like
no, I didn't really query. And I mean, I had queried when I was like the tattooed one I had queried, but that was YA agent. And so I don't work in YA, so it wasn't, we don't, we don't
yeah.
have overlap. So I was less
Mm.
concerned. But by the time I started writing adult, I was like, these are actually people that I have a lot of overlap with. And this is going to be really embarrassing if everybody shoots me down. And that's why I sent it to just one person. And in that case, it was the right
That was
person.
it. That's fantastic. I love this. I think it's so cool. It's like getting to see like a peek in behind what the scenes of all that came to be because you published that one and
Mhm.
then we are now in is Siren Says the second book that you will be publishing? Okay.
Yeah, it's the second
Very,
book.
very cool. What would you say has been like the hardest part of your journey so far?
Oh my gosh. I mean, for me, I think, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that the hardest part is just like shutting out the noise and doing my job, which is like to write a book that I love. Like that's my whole job. I cannot, as we already talked about, I don't think there's an objective standard of what a good book is. And I think when you try to write for other people in that kind of way, then you can sometimes lose your own vision. And so I think if you're somebody who starts off as being kind of empathetic already, you're always putting yourself in other people's shoes, which
Mm.
is fine until you start to have thousands of people's opinions crowding out your own. And that's what happens like when you publish a book, like you go from having, a handful of readers to thousands, and they can be very, very loud. And so I think it's been a constant struggle to sort of recenter my own tastes, like what I like in a book,
Mhm.
and to listen to the people's opinions who matter, like my editor, my agent, my close circle, but to not let the people outside of that circle really dictate what I write as much because, everybody's going to have a different opinion about what I should do. But the most important thing for me is that I write the book that is on my heart.
I love how your brain works. I feel like every time you speak, I'm just like going over the last thing you said because yeah, this is like it's so refreshing and so like important to hear, like it really is hard to like not get and like as an empath, I really do have that like wanting the story to hit for lots of people, but like being I do try to just block it out to just like I think pretty much just Angela and my agent if I'm
Hmm.
like early days and I read to my husband, bless his soul, he
Yes.
weathers every draft. But like
Good.
aside from that, I feel like if I had too many opinions, I wouldn't be able to move forward with the book because I would just be like, but they hate. And it's how many times I've looked at something and been like, somebody told me cut this out, and then the other person goes, this was my favorite part,
That's right. That's right.
and you're
That's
like,
right.
what do I do with that?
Yeah, because they're each trying to like say that right, they're just like, you can't help, I think, but project your own opinion as being something objective. Like, because it is objective to you because you've only ever experienced yourself. But you're right, if you
Yeah.
are an empath, it's just so, so challenging to move forward. And I've seen, because the other thing is in my work, I see people all the time who have promising starts and they never finish their novels. Like, I see it constantly. And so many times it's they get debilitated, sorry, by the feedback and by the differing voices, and they can't connect to their own vision anymore. And when
Mm,
you lose that vision, I think it is impossible to write.
Mm.
yes.
Felt it right here in the soul. I felt that one good hard. Would you say also like being an agent, does that ever sort of mess with your mind a little bit
Yeah.
as well? Because you're like, oh, but this is what the market is asking for. Like, does that ever affect you?
All the time, all the time. And sometimes in good ways. Sometimes I'm like, you got to pick up the pace, hun. Like the
Ah,
market,
yeah.
like, you only have, honestly, you have to catch them in the first sentence, then the first paragraph, then the first page, then the first 50 pages. And after that, they'll give you some room to be more exploratory. But like things like that I think are good. But in negative ways too, because then you can always talk yourself out of anything. You're like, well, X, Y, and Z book didn't sell, and that's in a similar area. What makes me think that I could be different? Or you're constantly comparing. I think if I didn't work in this industry and know kind of what the big things are for any book, I wouldn't compare so much. But it's like, oh, she got Book of the Month Club. You didn't. She got an editor's pick on Amazon. You didn't. Like all of these things that I know really move the needle. Anytime they don't happen, they feel like, I don't know, like being hit in the chest with something. And that is horrible. Like, I wish that I could turn that piece of my brain off, but that's the business side that works as an agent that's like, here are the things you get for your clients, and here are the things that will move the needle. And I just, yeah, in that way that I really regret being an agent. Not all the time, just in like that very tiny way where you're like, this is the best thing that's like ever happened to me outside of, sorry to be corny, like outside of having my kids. Best thing that's ever happened to me. Why am I focusing on these things that genuinely don't matter to me as a person at all?
Our freaking brains. Our brains, they know how to get us. They know how to mess
They
with
know how to
us.
get us. Yeah, and I feel like it has to be like this very conscious effort all the time to like redirect. To be like, okay, I see
Mm.
that you're seeing thinking this way. I'm going to redirect you to the things that you actually value and care about.
Mm, that is
Shit
also
knows.
very, everything's very relatable. It really is, and Angela and I talk about this a lot. Like our conversations will kind of often cycle back just to pep talking ourselves
Mhm.
because so often we fall back into this exact same debilitating mindset, and just chatting about it tends to pull us out of it. And we're like, wait, I already told myself I was a bad bitch and I didn't need to worry about this, and I already know my identity's not tied up in this one specific thing happening at this one specific time. But I don't know what it is. Maybe just society, like for some reason in the moment, the instinct, the like
Mhm.
animal part of us is just like,
Uh-huh.
I am ruined because this didn't happen. And like, but then after I'm
Uh-huh.
like, wait,
Uh-huh. I have this editor friend of mine that I was telling about everything, and I was like, "Oh, I worry that I'm not a very good writer, and that I'm a bad agent, and I'm going through this whole list." And she goes, "You too?" She was like,
Oh,
"God, why are we so hard on ourselves?"
mm,
And it was just this moment of like this recognition of, "Oh my gosh, like it will never stop unless I stop it." Like,
oh,
there's no level you get to where it's just like, oh, I've arrived. Look, you know, all of those negative feelings are gone now. Anyway, it was this moment of, I think, communion to just be like, oh wow, you feel it too? All right, then you're amazing. And so I guess that I have to be the one to turn the feelings off because they're not going to turn off on their own.
yes. What a beautiful reminder, honestly. And it's funny how you're always so surprised when somebody else that you admire
Yeah.
feels that way because you're like, there's no way you could feel that way. And they're thinking the same thing about you, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, okay, I guess we're all just struggling, but we're all amazing. We're all doing the
Yeah.
hardest things, and
Yeah.
it's so, so cool. What would you say has been the best part of your journey so far?
And see, this is where we go back to values, right? Of the things that are actually very meaningful to me. The
Hmm.
best part was telling my mom that I got a book deal. I got to tell her on her birthday. And I was like, happy birthday. And she just couldn't believe it. She was like, what? You wrote a book? Because I'm a Scorpio, so I don't tell anybody anything.
Seems
I
right.
just,
Yeah.
yes, I keep it all to myself constantly. She was like, since when have you been writing books? I was like, Mom, for like 10 years, but I just, I wasn't successful and I didn't want to tell anybody. I know I've worked on it in therapy, guys. So we figured it out. But it was so much fun to just like have my mom be so proud of me and then to have her read the book. And I had sent her a copy and she came for the book launch to Philadelphia where I live. And she made me so nervous because she held up the book and it was full of post-it notes. And I was like, oh gosh, Mom, what? She goes, I just want to go over some notes with you.
Oh.
Okay, okay. So I like my heart's racing. I sit down. She goes, starts flipping through. On page 7, this uncle, is that your Uncle Rick or your Uncle Jim? Which one did you put in? And she went through and she was like, and was this because we did this when you were a kid? She just like wanted to know how everything related to like stuff I had experienced in my life. And it was the best freaking moment.
oh my
Oh my
God,
gosh. It's
adorable.
beautiful.
Well, speaking of your amazing books, I want to hear more about your upcoming release, Siren Says.
I have a copy. I'll show it to you. Have you seen it yet? It's so
I'm
pretty.
sorry. Also, did you get blurred by Diana Gabaldon?
Yes, I
Like,
did.
like,
Yeah.
girl,
Ma'am,
girl, ma'am.
Look,
oh
there
my
she is.
God, that
The
is a
queen herself.
masterpiece.
I
I
know.
bow
I
to
know.
thee. That is amazing. Okay, tell us about it.
I
It's gorgeous.
I cried when
I
I got the
bet.
blurb in.
I
I
bet.
cried like a baby, and it was the best moment.
That's the
Um,
only valid reaction to that cover.
there's no other reaction available to me but tears.
Yeah. So good.
Ugh.
So cool. Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
love Diana forever because I wrote her this email. I just have to tell you the story, then I'll tell you about the book.
Yes.
But I wrote her this email, but I had to go through her agent, right? Because I am an agent and I know protocol, and I didn't have her email address. So I wrote the agent. The agent responds. He was like, "It is very unlikely that Diana will read this email, but I'll forward it to you. But even if she does read this email, it's very unlikely she'll request a copy of the book. But even if she does request a copy of the book, it is very unlikely she will be able to provide you a blurb. But I'll send it along." I was like, "Thank you, Russell. I appreciate that vote of confidence."
Yes.
So I was convinced that like I had just sent this out into the ether and nothing would happen. And then at like, I want to say it was like either 2 a.m. or 4 a.m., she emailed me from her personal account and was like, "I'd love to read, send me a copy."
Oh my gosh. Did
Oh
you just
my
faint right
I
there?
did.
Like, did
God.
you just
I
fall
did.
out of your, yeah.
I, well, here's the crazy thing. So it was either 2 or 4 in the morning. I don't remember because I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I have to check my email, which is
The writer
insane.
gods were listening.
They're
Wild.
They
right.
had
They
to
must
wake
have
you
been.
up.
I was like, I
Yes.
have to check my email. And I don't normally do that. So it was one of those weird moments where I was like, okay, something wonderful just happened and I don't understand it, but I am thrilled and I'm here for it.
That is the coolest news in the world.
So
I
Diana and I
love
have
this for
like a
you.
psychic
Yeah.
connection, is what I'm saying. It's like
Hmm.
probably really, she thinks about me too, I'm sure, all the time.
All the time. All the time. Yes. She's going to be boosting you and your book for eternity, which
Can you
I'm so excited
imagine?
about.
I
Yeah.
cannot believe she even like read my words. And then she provided this great blurb, and I just, I can't.
Oh
The
my God,
best.
Well, the
can you
book
read us
must
the
be
blurb?
good. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, let me tell you about it. I think it's this really fun book. It's moody, it's atmospheric. It's about this woman who must learn to harness her family's dangerous magic, that's been plaguing her family for generations in order to break this curse. And it asks this simple question, which is how do we reconnect to joy and to wonder when it feels like the world is constantly on fire? And I
Mm,
think the book does this through like its connection to Welsh mythology, to all of this botanical magic, which is a huge piece of the world. It's like you have sentient plants, and they're all based on real plants. And you have just like this sense that nature is looking out for the main character, which to me is just like this very beautiful idea, like the universe is looking out for you. And there's, a little bit of spice in there.
thank you.
Amazing.
We're ready. Our
Okay.
bodies are ready.
We
I'm so
need
happy.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, the notification just popped up that we only have
Oh,
10 minutes left, and I feel like we just started.
we only have 10 minutes left?
Yes.
How did that happen?
We're just yapping away, just
I do
bragging
talk a
on
lot.
you. Yeah, no, we love it. Honestly, you've hit Melanie and I in the chest several times, and we're just like in awe of you and
Yeah.
all that you have accomplished, all you're doing. I can't freaking wait for this book. When does it come out again?
August 18th.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Like it's very
Like
soon.
next week.
Yes, next
Oh
week.
Like,
Next
my
week.
okay,
God.
good. So pumped for this. Honestly, this is so killer.
Did you get a
Um,
copy? Because I can definitely send you a copy if you did not.
please, please.
Yes, I will send you a copy.
Yes. Okay, good. I would love because I am obsessed already.
Amazing.
Um, yeah, I am here for it. And honestly, sounds like such a timely book right now and something I think we all can explore. And I'm really so excited for you. Um, Now I want to sort of shift into you're an author agent. Like, what does that look like for you? What does a day in a life
Whew.
for Jennifer look like?
They're all different. They're all different. Some days I get to talk to people like you, and it's so much fun. Right now it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It's like pre-order, et cetera, et cetera. But in a normal time when like the book is not publishing, I try to start my day with writing because I feel like that, like we talked about before about centering yourself with your own vision and your own ideas. I feel like it's important for me as a person and just like a human in the world to know what I feel and know
Mhm.
what I'm thinking and have that moment of self-expression. So I know people People say worst first to like start their days. I'm always like, well, I like to start with my heart. And it sounds very corny because it is, but it's also a guiding principle. So I always start with writing if I can. And from there, I'll write for 1 to 2 hours and then I'll go on with the rest of my day and I'll do, my job, which I love, love, love. I really do love discovering new writers and building the writers that I do have and like helping them grow and using like everything I'm learning as an author to help them succeed as well.
Mm.
And yeah, taking care of my kids.
Yeah. Does it
So
ever feel
busy.
hard to balance the author agent seesaw scenario? Or does it
Yeah, but
all merge together?
I mean, it can merge together. Sometimes it does. I think it would be harder for me if I tried to be one thing because I think I would burn out really fast. I think if I tried to just be the best agent I possibly could, I think I would sense that there was a piece of myself that never got to come out and play. And I do think that sense of play is really important to having a really balanced, full life. And sometimes there are periods where I'm only agenting and that's just taken over my life. And there are periods where I'm only writing and that's taken over my life. But the best parts are when I get to do everything and I get to, I don't know, it's like I like to think of it as a symphony, right? Like there's a beautiful thing about a solo, but there's something freaking magical. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear,
Yeah, you
about
can.
like all of the instruments coming together. Okay, fucking magical about all of the instruments coming together and creating that like fullness of sound. And for me, like those are the best moments when you get to do everything.
Oh my gosh. What a rich life to live, too.
Mm.
Getting to play in that symphony, in that orchestra. I think that's gorgeous imagery too. I can just hear it now, I
Mhm.
see you have instruments in the back, so I'm
I do.
imagining you're just fiddling away, just like harmonizing in
Ugh.
the universe.
I wish I could play them all. My husband is a musician, so he has many instruments, and I am learning the piano. But even that, like, it's been such a moment where I was like, I didn't realize. I was like, oh my gosh, music can do this. Like, this
Mm.
is how it feels for these notes to come together. And I think just as humans, we're so many things. Um, and it's such a joy that we live in a time where we get to do what we want.
Mm.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, I see Melanie's like vibrating.
I am. I'm gonna vibrate off this chair and into the universe. But it's that I just love how your brain works, and I agree. Like yeah, the solo is great, but it's like often like these really little parts of life where I just like am washing dishes in the sink and I look out and the light is just hitting the tree perfect. And something in my heart is so happy. Maybe it was yesterday I had a chat with a good friend and it just filled me up and I'm still glowing. And I'm like, that's that little moment. That's not the solo. It's like a little scrappy moment. That's all mine. And that feels so magical. And I just love how your brain just like zones in on that because yeah, I think it's what makes life all the richer.
I think so too. And you said it so perfectly. I was like, you must be a writer.
Well, I try.
She dabbles here and there, yes.
Dabbles.
Now I can only imagine how much reading you're doing, how many manuscripts you're looking at. How does one stand out for you? Is it voice that like calls to you? The writing, the pacing? Is it all of it? Like, what is the thing for you?
It has to be all of it, which I hate to say because it's like the standards are just so high these days because the access is so like easy, I think, in some ways, which is great and I'm all about it. But it means that when I'm open to queries, I'll get, gosh, I'm not open to fantasy queries anymore because I used to get 50 fantasy queries a day on top of my other queries. So I probably get like 70 queries a day when I'm open, which is just so, so many. And so if you think about that volume, it's like you have to have it all, which is totally unfortunate, but you have to have something that feels really fresh, something that feels like it's also in conversation with the books that are currently selling in the marketplace in your space and like a really powerful voice. But I will say, it's hard, but it's not impossible. And there's always, I remember hearing this speech from Tana French once ton of friends. She used to be an actor, and then she became a writer. And she said, "Well, something that I love about writing," she said, "is you can rewrite a sentence 20 times, and no one has to know that you had 20 times to rewrite that sentence." She's like, "With an actor, you stand up there." She was a stage actor, and like if you flub your line, that's it. You don't get a second chance. And so I think, what I want to say that's hopeful to writers is that yes, it's hard, but it's not impossible. It took me 10 years because I care about it and I love it so much that I was willing to try for 10 years to even get my first bite. And I've seen so many writers in this business. One of them, I know a woman who wrote 8 books before, no, 7 books before her eighth was published. And then that eighth book debuted #1 New York Times bestseller. So it's a long game, is what I'm saying.
Mm,
Yes.
it really is. Do you have, I see like we're down to 2 minutes. Do you have like a little nugget of advice that you would want to give querying writers?
I mean, the biggest thing is don't give up, which I think is the hardest thing too. It's like keep trying. If it doesn't work, then try something else. Get scrappy, get feedback from people, I think is huge. Writers groups are huge. Going to conferences. Figure out how to do what you do better and how to have what you create more aligned with the vision of what you want it to be. For a lot of people, their tastes don't always align with their abilities for a really long time. And so I would say keep trying because it's your art and you're worth it and it's worth it.
Oh my
Amen.
God.
That's it. She took
I'm
us, she took us to Writer Church. We felt it again in the soul. Oh my gosh. Honestly, it's been such a joy having you on. Getting to
Mm.
talk to you as a human, as an author, as an agent, just as a soul has been really uplifting. And I know our listeners are going to be obsessed. So thank you for joining us. Honestly, I wish you the very best on this book. I know it's going to kill it, and I can't wait to read it myself. So thank you for taking the time to be with us before she comes out into the world and the chaos ensues. So thank you again for joining
Oh,
us.
it's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
my ears are blessed. I'm glad that I'm the person that edits the episode because I get to re-listen to this and just savor everything and remind myself all the things. So yeah, honestly, pleasure to meet you, and thank you for sharing your brain with us. We need it. We need it in this troubling industry.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
And anytime, this was such a lovely, lovely experience.
Oh my God, yes,
Yay.
we'll have to have you back because yeah, it's definitely right at church.
I would love
Yeah.
to. I would love to. This is my religion now.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally. It's better. Join us.
Of the publishing persuasion, of the publishing persuasion.